All right, here we are at Sungai Batu in what seems to be a pretty nondescript location, literally right beside the highway, but prepare to have your minds blown as underneath this roof here, there is a altar used for worship that predates Angkor Wat, predates Machu Picchu. We're talking about the year 110 AD. This was constructed. Let's check it out. All right, first things first, the outer ring you see behind me, the bottom layer, the foundation of the prayer or worship altar would have been built in 110 AD, more than 1900 years ago. So you can imagine these stones being laid by people who believed in an animist religion. So they built this altar to pray to spirits and mountains and animals and things of that nature. Now, as we move up the altar, things get more and more recent, still incredibly old though, obviously. So the first square pillar you see here would have been built around 678 AD, so a good 500 years later, and clearly shows signs of Buddhism and Hinduism. So we moved into the part of history where Southeast Asia was mostly Buddhist and Hindu. This is seriously heaven for anyone who loves history, surrounded by all these dig sites that were just excavated as early as 2007, and we've got a doctor with us, a PhD archaeologist who was on the original team to dig out a lot of these sites. We literally are accompanied by the best and the brightest in this field. This is going to be an amazing day. Let's learn more.
And we all here, 788 BC, about 2,800 years ago.
Wow.
The same like Greek and Rome.
Wow.
You know,
Incredible.
we are here. So that's why just now I tell you that this is the oldest and earliest civilization evident for this region.
It predates Angkor Wat,
Yeah,
Machu Picchu.
much early,
Much older. When you say iron smelting,
Yeah.
that means
They produce the ingot. You know the ingot?
no.
That means they're smelting the iron, come out with something like block, rectangular block,
Okay.
and then they export this one to produce a record, what we found record, Arabic record, to make Arab iron, to make Indian iron, Indian sword, you know?
Swords.
Arab sword, Indian sword, already record.
So because of the location sort of in between China and the Middle East.
Yeah. Because the business will be around the Strait of Malacca. You know, if they want to go to India, they have to wait here to the right wind to move to India, to Arab, and to Europe. So this is the really real location, a good location, and have iron.
And has iron.
Yes.
So it's geographically convenient
Yes,
as well
where
as rich
you-
in this rare
Yeah.
earth material.
Very, very rich.
So that it's
in the
the
minerals.
oldest civilization found in Southeast Asia. 2,800 years old, roughly.
Wow.
Just amazing.
Wow, I cannot believe it's older than Machu Picchu.
Yeah, Machu Picchu and Angkor Wat are the
Greeks and
famous
Romans.
ones, but this one
the
predates
ingot.
those.
This is the ingot.
This
The
is the
this
ingot.
the classic ingot.
Okay, so this is
Because-
a new word I'm learning. Iron ingot,
Yeah.
which is like a raw piece of iron right from
It's
the earth.
already smell because the pure iron is not strong. You know, if you want to make a sword, knife, it's not strong. So they have to mix and take out the not negative iron out
Sure.
from the original. So it's become a solid.
So they would do that here.
Here,
And then these
Yeah.
ingots would be
Export.
sold, exported,
Export.
exported. So from 788 BC to about 1300 AD, about 2,100 years, sites like this were used to refine iron ore into iron ingot. Evidently nowadays iron ingot is a rectangular bar that people identify as useful, almost like a gold bar, but this one would be iron. Now back in the day, iron ingot was just kind of a blob without a mold, and I actually got the chance to hold on to some, which is pretty special. So this is an iron ingot. It's slightly refined iron. When you first pull iron out of the ground, it's not exactly useful, so you refine it into an ingot. someone in the 3rd century or 8th century AD refined this
Whoa,
iron
this is
ingot,
another heavy thing.
and now
Oh
I'm
my
holding on
gosh.
to it.
So everywhere.
From 3rd to 8th century AD,
Imagine
Cool.
if you just
So
hear playing and you
1700
thought this was a rock.
years ago
Wow.
at most.
This is
Amazing.
what I would.
And so the history is just overwhelming me in this place. To think more than 2,000 years ago, you know, before Christ existed, there were people working here, pulling iron out of the ground, worshiping animist religions, and now we're here just learning about it from the man who led the team as they were excavating these sites. The leader of the team. He's a Malaysian hero, from what I understand. Super humble and knowledgeable and just amazing guy. This might be the best day in Malaysia we've had so far. This is really amazing stuff.
This type of thing need a mold. You know?
Mold.
Because there is a round shape there. Yeah? This round shape where they pump in the air manually.
Wow.
During that period, manually. You know, they pump in the air. So this side, smelting the iron from 3rd century AD until 8th century AD, 500 years.
Wow.
Okay? This is the biggest storage of tuya in the world. Only here you can see so many tuya in the world.
Because of this is the Iron Land.
That's the right words, iron land.
Iron Land.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see here the remains of the iron.
My God.
Yeah, because it's stuck because the high temperature, it break its remain maintained here. It should be like this, empty. Okay, so this is already used. We're gonna finish.
Original furnace.
Okay,
Made out of
this is the top mouth
Mm-hmm.
where you put in all the iron, the pure iron, the raw iron,
Okay.
mixed with the charcoal, mixed with the calcium, you know,
Okay.
and sands to make out to come out a good one.
Ah.
So they will put the 2 year, the 2 year left. They pump in the air,
Increase the heat.
yeah, to increase the temperature. So after my experiment, manually after 8 hours, they will flow like a lava from this mouth,
Liquid iron.
like iron.
And from there, we can make
Can you
ingot.
imagine
I'm
that?
imagining it.
Can you imagine that?
I'm imagining Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Number 2. Or number 3, I think, Return of the King. The orbs were like making iron underground.
True. There you have it. So what year roughly is this particular furnace from, our best guess? What year, how old is
Oh,
that one?
this one from 2nd century AD.
Second
Second
century.
century.
This one from 1st century AD. You know?
Do we have any guess on how many people would be working
From
in the whole iron industry in this area?
from my experience, not less than 10,000.
10,000 people.
Because they need a level to bring the iron here without a transport that time, you know.
Right.
Maybe you're using the elephant. Normally in tropical they're using the elephant.
Elephant. Wow.
So they start want to iron. You just imagine 8 hours from my experiment manually to put in, you know. Then they start the business without the handphone. Contact with
Right.
others to get the iron. How?
Yeah. Without the handphone. Cannot send an email.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Gotta
That's what I
send
imagine at
somebody.
all.
They write writings in the iron, send it, come back, make the iron again.
You gotta send somebody there to say,
How
No,
do they
so
do that?
at least 10,000 because they need a lot of labor workers.
What's interesting is those animist religions in the year 110 AD would have probably been worshipping the mountain, Mount Jirai, nearby. And what's funny is the mountain is probably what brought them all the iron to begin with, seeing as how it's a volcanic mountain range that would have been created by some inner earth materials bursting through, and that would have been what brought the iron there in the first place. So very interesting. All right, unfortunately guys, we're competing with the rain. So we're gonna jump inside here for a little demonstration and hope it'll slow down soon. They've even got a kids section here where they can demonstrate for you that if you want iron ingot, you've got to take iron ore and sand and shells and cook them with charcoal in a clay stove like this one to get the job done. I'm telling you guys, this place is a absolute must come, and special thanks to Professor Dato Dr. Mohktar Saidin. I did it. Special thanks to him. Incredibly knowledgeable guy and really bringing this place to life for us. Just amazing.
You're just amazing. The big factory. What do you think? At the same size. At the same thickness.
Kedah really seems to be blessed by the gods when you realize that the mangroves in this area that are everywhere around here are the perfect wood to burn hot enough to melt iron. So they've got the iron and they've got the wood and they've got the perfect geographic positioning to become rich and famous for their iron trade. Incredible. This place is an absolute must if you're traveling Kedah, even if you're just traveling Malaysia. There's really good signage everywhere and just the history of imagining what took place right here on the other side of the time scale, like BC. So this place predates Angkor Wat, it predates Machu Picchu, and it is absolutely free to enter, which is mind-blowing. This should be or could be a really expensive kind of once-in-a-lifetime thing, and you can come here as many times or as often as you'd like. It's really incredible to think people were working here, figuring out how to make iron ingot, sending it across the world. The swords used in Saudi Arabia or the chariots used in India were probably made with metal from here. World famous metal producing starting as early as 788 BC. And you can just wander through 52 archaeological dig sites at your leisure. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And like we saw there's some stuff for the kiddos too. Learning how to make bricks and learning how to make iron. So we've had an absolutely incredible time with Tourism Kedah. We had a hectic, jam-packed, non-stop action 5 days. This will be the last stop of our 5-day tour. So to be clear, I'm a little bit tired and beat up. We had so much fun the past 5 days, but this really was the cherry on top. A memory that I will have forever. I mean, this is really, really amazing history, and to do it all with Mohktar Saidin, special thanks to him, special thanks to Tourism Kedah. Lots more good stuff coming, guys. See you in the next vlog, and thanks for watching.
So just spread it like that, huh?
So mix sand, clay, and rice husk. Mix it with water. Put it in that little thing, and you make a brick. Ta-da!
And then by 1156, Kedah, the first state in the country, using the Sultanate system. This is the latest evidence for the country. You cannot find this in Angkor. So this very clear stupa, Hindu Buddhist, that start very late in the 7th century AD, 300 something. Okay? So this is really different from other civilization areas.